But we're going to be we're going to be in the gospel according to Luke today, Luke chapter 14. We started a sermon series last week about the parables of Jesus. Someone say parables. And what are parables? Parables are earthly stories with heavenly meaning. Jesus took real life scenarios, real life situations familiar to everyone at that time and even to us today, and he used them to bring forth God's truth. And last week we looked at the parable of the talents. Someone say talents. And it taught us the importance of stewarding. What does steward mean? Carefully and responsibly managing something entrusted to you. So last week we saw the importance of taking care of managing our talents, our resources, and our gifts given to us by God. And at any moment, we're going to be held accountable for our actions. At any given moment, we're going to have a meeting with the master, with our ruler, and about what did you do with the stuff I gave you. And I don't know about you, but I want to hear, well done, my good and faithful. So I don't want to hear you wicked, lazy servant. Because some of us are too blessed to be wicked and lazy, but we need to hear, well done, my good and faithful servant. And today we're going to look at a parable Jesus spoke as he's using it to bring forth God's truth about discipleship. Now, it's not a long parable, but it's a short little parable, but he's using it as an illustration to show the crowd he's speaking to the importance of discipleship. Y'all following? So if you don't have your Bible, you can see it on the screen. Luke, the gospel according to Luke, chapter 14. We're going to be starting with the 25th verse. I'll be reading from the English Standard Version. Now, great crowds accompany him, who is him, Jesus, and he, Jesus, turned and said to them, if anyone comes to me and does not hate his own father and mother and wife and children and brothers and sisters, yes, and even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. That's some tough stuff right there. Whoever does not bear his own cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. And here's the parable right here. For which of you, desiring to build a tower, does not first sit down, someone say sit down, and count the cost. Someone say count the cost. Count the cost, whether he has enough to complete it. Otherwise, when he has laid a foundation and is not able to finish, all who see it begin to mock him, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. He started some he couldn't finish. Or what king, another parable, going out to encounter another king in war, would not sit down first and deliberate whether he is able with 10,000 to meet him who comes against him with 20,000? And if not, while the other is yet a great way off, he sends a delegation and asks for terms of peace. So therefore, any one of you who does not what? Who does not give up, who does not renounce all, someone say all. Not some, but what? Not a little bit, but what? All that he has cannot be my disciple. And my subject this morning is check the price tag. Check the price tag. You know, before you commit to doing it, you better check that price tag. Before you even thinking about buying it, you better what? Check the price tag. Because a lot of time we jump into situations without checking the price tag. We jump into moments not checking the price tag, and now we started some we can't finish. Someone say check the price tag. Jesus is using this illustration. We're going to focus on the first parable with the foundation and building the tower. Jesus is using this illustration to show the importance of counting the cost to be one of his disciples. What is counting the cost? To count the cost means to carefully consider the implications, the sacrifices, and the potential consequences of a decision before committing to it. To count the cost means to evaluate, check out what you might have to give up in order to achieve a particular goal or pursue, someone say pursue, a certain path. Check the cost. Counting the cost means to understand what's expected of you before you go all in on a commitment. For he says, for which of you desiring to build a tower does not first sit down and count the cost, whether he has enough to complete it? Because when you fail to count the cost, you run a risk of not finishing what you started. And do I have anybody in a room that can be honest that there's times in your life where you did not count the cost and now you can't finish what you started? There's times in your life you let your feelings lead you, you let your emotions lead you, and now you jumped into something and you like, God, get me out of this. Because I did not know it was going to take all of that. And now you can't follow through on your commitment because the cost is more than you're willing to pay. And you didn't realize that commitment you made was going to cost you your singleness, but you made a commitment. You didn't realize that commitment you made was going to cost you time with your family, but you made the commitment. You made a commitment without fully understanding all that it was going to require of you, and now you are stuck in a decision that you're trying to get out of because you are unwilling to pay the full price. Someone say, check the price tag. And check the price tag because everything, someone say everything. Everything has a cost. Can we just be honest? Say everything has a cost. Even if they say it's free, it still costs something. Free is not always free. Free is not always good. Free is not always free. Just because it's free doesn't mean it's not going to cost you something, because yes, it might not cost you something financially, but it's going to cost you something. You might not pay financially, but it costs you your peace. And your peace is expensive. Someone say, my peace is expensive. It might not have cost you money, but it costs you your health. And your health is expensive. It might not have cost you money, but it cost you your good years. Look at all the women. I wasted all my good years on you. That's what you really get mad. You're not mad, be like, I wasted my good years. I wasted my 20s and 30s on your behind. Now, look, I'm in my 50s, and I'm like, golly. So it cost you, it was free, but it cost you a good year. It costed you your time. And how many know time is expensive? Because ain't no getting your time back. So yes, you made a commitment and it was a free, like, oh, this is free, but it cost you your time. And here's the thing about free. The best free gift of all is what? Salvation. And salvation is a beautiful gift. Salvation is a wonderful gift. Salvation is a free gift. But guess what? Following Jesus will cost you everything. So salvation is free, but baby, discipleship is costly. Following Jesus will cost you everything. Someone say everything. And in the context of this text, Jesus is having them count the cost so they can consider what it truly means to follow him. Because salvation is free. Someone say salvation is free. Salvation, we are not saved by works. We are what? Saved by grace through faith. Salvation is a free gift, but discipleship is costly. Someone say, check the price tag. So Jesus is saying, if you're going to follow me, if you're going to be in for real, let me tell you up front what all this is going to cost, because you might not be willing to pay the price to really follow me. Jesus is being upfront about the cost. And I love people that's upfront about the cost. You ever try to buy something from someone, you're like, no, you read it between the lines. They're not trying to tell you what it truly costs. Now, be upfront about what you're going to require of me so that I can make a fair decision. Like, don't leave me on now jumping into something because you failed to tell me all that it's going to require of me. back in Jesus' era, discipleship was a serious decision. You didn't take it lightly. Students looked for a teacher whose character they can trust. They can trust that teacher's character, and they can trust that teacher's doctrine, the teacher's set of belief. And they trusted him enough, and they devoted themselves to that teacher's way of life. So a disciple was just not a follower. A disciple was a student. That word disciple means student, learner. And so they learned from Jesus to become more like Jesus. So he's saying, so when he does the Great Commission to the disciples before he left, he says, go out and make disciples of what? All nations. So Jesus decided, I want more students of me. I want more people that can learn from me, because that's what Christianity is all about. Christianity is all about becoming more like Christ. But I just want to pause for a second and say, we make Christianity so hard, so complicated, so difficult with our religion and our tradition and our rituals, when it's all becoming more like Christ. Because who cares if you can speak in tongues, but if you're not becoming more like Christ? Who cares if you got a long skirt on if you're not becoming more like Christ? It's all about becoming more like Christ in the way you forgive, the way you love, the way you treat other people, the way you love one another, love your enemy. All that is becoming more like Christ. But it's some nasty people in the room. You got a PhD in church, but you have a GED when it comes to becoming more like Christ. We make it so complicated. Someone say it's not that hard. It's not that hard. Just you don't have to agree with them to love them. You don't have to vote the same to love them. Yeah, look at people. Oh, now you're taking a little too far. No. You don't have to. Hey, we don't have to agree. I love you. No matter which way you go, I love you. Because that's what it love your neighbor as yourself. It doesn't have an adjective in front of the word neighbor. That's another story, a sermon for another day. I knew it was going to get quiet right there. Because it's so much tense. It's so tense right now. We waiting for November 5th. We waiting to see that. Hey, look, check this out. Love regardless, okay? Love regardless. That's what it's like being more like Christ. He's laying out the terms. I'm going to just speed past that one. He's laying out the terms of discipleship. In a sense, counting the cost means agreeing to some terms first. So Jesus said, you want to follow me. He turned to this great crowd. You want to follow me. Here's the terms on what it takes to follow me. So to count the cost means that we agree. We're going to listen to and we're going to agree to the terms first. He doesn't want them to start something they can't finish. Because Jesus knew in this great crowd following him that some people were not following him for him. He knew that some people were following him for the benefits. He knew that some people were following for the miracles, signs, and one, because Jesus was popping. Jesus was cool. Jesus was the big dog. He was the latest trend at the time. Like, it was all about Jesus. And some people were following him for the free food, following him for the blessings, following him for the miracles. And here's the thing, when those type of people do not stick around when things get tough. Those people that's in it for the benefits do not stick with you when life gets hard, things get tough, because they weren't in it for you. They were in it for your benefits. They were in it for what they can get from you. But the second those benefits stop, deuces, I'll holler, I'll see you next year. Because they wasn't really in it for you. They were in it for the benefit. So Jesus breaking these terms down, like I said, I know some of y'all are not in it for me. Y'all in it for what I can do for you. And that's why I truly believe God would allow tough times to come into your life to weed out the people that's not really for you. God will allow storms, trials, and tribulations to enter your life to weed out people that's not really for you. And some of us in this room need to thank God that he allowed that to happen so you can separate the real from the fake. You allowed that to happen to separate people who was for you and people that were against you, because we get it twisted, we get it confused, especially in the digital age of social media. We got so many followers, but some people are just around you for the benefits. Some people are just around you for what you can do for them. Some people are around you for your money. Uh-oh. Some people are around you for your resources. Some people are around you for your body. We can take it further, but I'm not. Some people are around you for your car. Some people are around you for what you can do for them, but the second your car breaks down, the second you lose your job, the second your money gets funny, the second your body is no longer snatched as it is right now, they are out the picture because they really wasn't for you. They was for what you can do for them. They were for how they can benefit from you. And God would allow you to experience some things so you can discern the real from the fake. And I just pray by the end of this year, God gives you discernment so you don't walk into 2025 with people that's not really for you. Just because they're around you do not mean they for you. And I tell you, if you want to know who's for you, cut off whatever benefit they're getting from you and see if they stick around. Because a follower is in it for the benefits, but a disciple is in it for the man. And I don't know about you, but I'm not in it for the blessing. I'm in it because of Jesus alone. I'm not in it for the free food. I'm not in it for the welfare program. I'm in it because of Jesus, because that's how good he is. That's how great he is. That's his character, his consistency, I can depend on him. He's just, the Bible says he's a friend that sticks closer than a brother. So I'm in it because of time. He stuck with me. Even when people walked out my life, he stuck with me. Even in the hard times, he stuck with me. Even in the midst of the pain, he stuck with me. Even in ups and downs, he still stuck because he is a friend that sticks closer than a brother. And some people are in it for the benefits, but I'm in it because he stuck with me. Even when I was hard to deal with, he stuck with me. Even when I was hard to just talk to, he stuck with me. Can we just be honest, say, you are not easy to deal with, but look at Jesus sticking with you. Someone say, I'm a work in progress. And you hard to deal with and you hard to love, but look at Jesus right by your side, talking with you, comforting you, hugging you, loving you. And that's why I'm rocking with God. I know y'all wore that shirt last week. I'm rocking with him regardless because he's for me and not against me. I'm rocking with him because he talks with me. He's close. He loves me regardless. And he loves me too much for me not to stay the same. See, we quick to say he loves me for who I am. He do accept you for who you are. He loves you as who you are, but he not entering your life for you to stay the same. He wants to clean you up. So a disciple is in it even when it hurts. And can we admit there's times in your life where following Jesus hurts? Even when it hurts. It's not all peaches and cream. No, this stuff gets real. This stuff gets tough. It gets complicated. And a disciple is saying, you know what? I'm still going to be in it regardless. I'm still going to push through. I'm still going to walk through it because he did not bring me this far to bring me this far. He's a good father. He's not going to bring me this far just to abandon me. He's not going to bring me this far to drop me off. If he bring me to it, he'll bring you through it. If he leads you to it, he will lead you through it. So yes, I'm following him in the midst of the pain and the heartache and pain and the tears and the storms. I'm still gonna follow Jesus. And in this short parable about the foundation and the tower, the foundation in this illustration represents salvation. Because this is not a parable about the requirements of salvation. Check the price tag isn't about the requirements of salvation because we are not saved, as I said, by works. So I just want to clear that up. When Jesus is giving the terms for discipleship, he is not giving terms of salvation. Because the Bible says you confess with your heart that Jesus is Lord and believe. If you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that he's risen from that, you shall be what? Saved. It's a free gift, but Jesus is breaking down what it means to be a disciple. And so the foundation represents salvation, and the tower represents your ongoing faithfulness to Jesus. So when he says count the cost, you are saved, but do you have what it takes to continue growing in your relationship with me? Because it's possible to be, I like how a pastor put this, it's possible to be saved and stuck. So you saved, but you're not growing. You've been in church for 30 years, but you're not growing. You've been a Christian for this long, but you ain't growing. There's no progress. You stopped building your tower. You stopped growing in your ongoing relationship with the Father. And I don't know about you, but we need to build our tower regardless of what's happening around us. So a disciple builds and grow their tower in the midst of all types of craziness, chaos, confusion, trials, and storms. I'm still going to remain faithful to Jesus, because even when I'm faithless, he is faithful. And come on, can we just thank God for being faithful to us in seasons? Because it's not easy being faithful in trials. It's not easy being faithful in storms. And it's times in your life where your faith dropped a little bit. It dipped a little bit, I know I'm not the only one. Seasons where your faith dropped, seasons where your faith just went down, and now you started questioning your entire relationship with God, because if you were a good God, why would you allow this to happen to? We all said that before. Why would you allow this to happen to me? And we give God our resume. I do this for you. 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 I don't bother nobody, but you gonna let this, like Denzel, you gonna do this to me? And that's, and there's times where I even talk to God like, you gonna do this to me? But he's saying, but checking the price tag means you seeing that God, this following Jesus is not easy. Someone say, it's not easy. And then he says, he breaks it down. Whoever hates his own father and mother and children, who does not hate his father, mother, wife, and children, brother and sisters, and even his own life, cannot be my disciple. So Jesus is saying hate. Someone say hate. He said you need to hate your family and your own life. So he says, if you want to, this price tag, when you look at this price tag, how much this going to cost? Hate your family and yourself. Wait a second. Just raise your hand. I have a question, Jesus. Because I thought God is love. I thought that, you say love your neighbor as yourself. I thought the word says honor thy father and thy mother. I thought the word says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. So I hear love, 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 love. And now you talking about hate. So make it make sense, please. And here's the thing about it. When Jesus says hate, to take him literally would be a mistake. It would oppose, as I just said, all his teachings about loving other people. When Jesus says hate, what he's using is a hyperbole. Someone say hyperbole. And what is a hyperbole? A hyperbole is an exaggerated statement not meant to be taken literally. It's an exaggerated statement to create emphasis on something. It's used to make a point with maximum impact. We use hyperboles in everyday language, because how many of you have said, I'm so hungry I can eat a horse? Now, if I brought a horse to you, you wouldn't say, put that thing on the grill, let's go. No, but you're just stating, this how hungry I am. I'm really hungry. Or all the parents, I've told you 1,000,000 times to clean your room. You didn't tell that child 1,000,000 times to clean their room, but you just use an hyperbole to just show, hey, I told you a lot of times to clean this room. And so when Jesus says, hey, he's showing how great the difference must be between our allegiance to him and our allegiance to everyone and everything else. We should be so devoted to him that our love for our family looks like hate. That's what he is showing. You should love me so much that compared to your love for your family, it looks like you hate your family. That's how much you should love me. So we should be so devoted to him that it looks like hate to your family. So because he wants to show us that no relationship, however close, your mother, your father, your brothers, your sister, no relationship must take precedence over our allegiance to him. And so basically, long story short, he's saying the number one relationship you should have in your life is me. The number one relationship you should have in your life is Jesus. Disciples must put Jesus first. I know that sounds simple, but ooh, it's hard to do. It's challenging to do, especially we live in a world where, especially when you feel blessed, we show more love to the blessings than a blessor. We show more love to the resources than the source of the resources. We show more love to the creation than to the creator. And we overvaluing what God has given us and devaluing our relationship with him. But when it comes to our life, or the relationships in our life, God doesn't ask for exclusivity. He asks for priority. He's not going to be the only relationship in your life you have. He just wants to be the most important relationship you should have. And some of us have taken God out of the number one spot in our life, and we put our spouse above him. We put our children above him. We put our sorority above him, our fraternity above him, our career above him. And we trying to figure out why our spiritual life feels out of whack. It's because our spiritual life have taken a back seat to the material things in our lives. But I'm here to tell you, you take care of your spiritual life, everything else will fall into place. Because your spiritual life isn't the only area in your life, but it's the most important area in your life because it impacts every other area in your life. I'm going to say it again for those who missed it. Your spiritual life isn't the only area in your life, but it's the most important area in your life because it impacts every other area in your life. That's why I say, seek ye first, what? The kingdom of God and his right, and all things will be added to you. The problem is you want all these things added to you, but you're not seeking him first. He doesn't ask for exclusivity. He just wants priority. You get your spiritual life together. Your spiritual life runs the relationships in your life. You get your spiritual life together, your relationship with your family will get together. You get your spiritual life together, your marriage will get stronger. You get your spiritual life together, your finances will get stronger. You get your spiritual life together, your career will you get your spiritual life together, your peace, your mind, your strength, all that comes from your spiritual life. But we have taken our spiritual life and put it second under or some third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. Your spiritual life is all the way down here, and you like, I just feel out of whack. When the last time you spent time with Jesus? When the last time you did devotion? When the last time you prayed? When the last time? Because when you wasn't so blessed, Jesus had your full attention. But the second you got your little job, your little money, your little boyfriend, girlfriend, your little husband, your little wife, now he's taking a what? Back seat. Like, I don't need you no more. I'm good. And now you're trying to feel like things are just out of sync. But disciples put Jesus above everything. Because no matter how good your parents are, your parents will fail you at times. No matter how good your spouse is, your spouse will fail you sometimes. No matter how good your family is, your family will fail you sometimes. And here's the thing, no matter how good you are, you gonna fail you Sometimes. There's times in my life where I failed myself. But here's the thing, God won't ever fail. It might look like he failed you, seem like he failed, but if you look back over your life and you begin to think things, so you can truly say, God has never failed me. Can we all just say, God has never failed me? It might have looked like he failed in that moment, but he turned it around for your good, and you can truly say, he ain't failed me, and he ain't failed me yet. I know that's not good grammar, but he ain't failed. Someone say, he ain't failed me. He ain't failed me yet. Failure is not in his nature. Failure is not in his DNA. Failure is not on his track record. Failure is not on his resume. God doesn't speak failure. He doesn't do failure, because the God I serve make all things better. So it's like he makes all things better. The God I serve make all things better. The God I serve, all he does is win, 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 no matter what. Come on, say all he do is win, 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 no matter what. He'll flip it around for your good. You might have lost in that season, but you won in a long game. You might have lost last year, but you won in a long game. When you look back over your life, people say you lost, people say you failed, but now look at you smiling again, laughing again, enjoying life again, because God picked you up, he turned you around and placed your feet on what? Solid ground. Now look at you smiling, laughing with your blessed self. Someone say, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I don't got to be a millionaire to say I'm blessed. I don't need to have a lot of money to say I'm blessed. I'm blessed with peace. I'm blessed with strength. I'm blessed with joy. I'm blessed with a sane mind. Someone say, I'm blessed. And say, all he does is win. It's times in my life I didn't like that, but you know what? When I look back, I can say I won that one. There isn't a situation he can't solve, an issue he can't resolve, a battle he can't win. And that's why it's cast all your cares, all your anxieties, all your concerns. Give it to me, because I can hold all that. So he's saying you need to hate everyone and even your own self, because I should be the number one relationship in your life. And then he says, whoever does not bear his own cross and follow me cannot be my disciple. Real quick, to bear your own cross means to basically, you're going to accept and endure the challenges, burdens, and sacrifices that come with following Christ. So you basically saying like, hey, I know it's not going to be easy, but I'm in it. Someone say, I'm going to give you my yes. I know it's not going to be easy, but I'm going to give you my yes. And there's times in your life where you don't need to know everything to say yes. Because here's the thing, you don't know all that you're saying yes to. Because to be honest, if I knew all I was saying yes to, my behind would still be in Kansas City telling jokes with my good friends right there. If I knew all that I was agreeing to, but I was in it for the long haul. I say, you know what? It's going to be some opposition. It's going to be some rich. Everybody not going to agree with me. Everybody not going to like. But guess what? I'm in it for the long haul. You're going to have my yes. And some people don't want to give God that yes because of the fear of people. But I'm here to tell you, God above everything. It's all about doing the Father business. Jesus wasn't well liked. Jesus faced opposition. Jesus faced rejection. But guess what? He said, I'm here to go about my Father's business, because when you are all about your Father's business, you keep pushing regardless. In the midst of the rejection, the midst of the oppression, the midst of the pain, I'm going to keep pushing. Someone say, I'm going to keep pushing. And he said, bear your own cross and follow me. And that cross was not an easy thing to grasp. It wasn't a symbol of pain. It was a symbol of death. So he said, you agreeing to this life. And the Apostle Paul, like he said, I die daily. See, we don't talk about that a lot when it comes to hearing sermons and all this stuff. It's about dying daily. Yeah, all my life I had to fight. It's because we must die daily. Paul said, I die daily. You have to beat up your flesh. You have to, every day we must die to ourselves, our own desires, our own will, our own way. And that's a struggle. That's a fight because your flesh is strong. You know, when you get saved, a new creation, a new man of merit. But yeah, that old man be wanting to appear up every now and then. Because people act like your old man still don't exist. And they'll try you. And your old man got to pop up every now and then. I say, I'm still here. I'm just in the background chilling. I'm just in the background chilling. I'm letting the new man do what he do. The new man be holding me down. But every now and then say, you know what? Ooh. Look at people. I still cuss you out now. Don't let this fool you. I'm a new man, but don't try me. I'm not gonna go all in, but I remember that story that went viral a few years ago where a well-known gospel artist cussed his son out. And the world was crazy. And it's funny, but all the parents was like, you know what? Your kids will make you do that from time to time. Your kids will make you cuss you out from time to time. People, why would a gospel artist, a saved man, cuss his son out like that? I'm like, check this out. If your son came to you talking crazy, you might have some words too. Like, hey now, I'm a gospel artist, but I'm still a man. I ain't Jesus. Jesus is perfect. I still got some blemishes, and what you caught was a blemish. But it's not easy following Jesus, but it is worth it. And Jesus doesn't promise easy. God doesn't promise easy, but he does promise help. Because when Jesus, before he left, he said, I'm going to send to you a comforter, a helper, a counselor, an advocate. Because the Holy Spirit is here to help us out. Because Jesus is not walking with us physically, but we have the Holy Spirit living in us, indwelling us, here to help us out. Because everybody needs some help. Everybody needs some help. So it's not going to be easy, but you have some help. What you're going through is not going to be easy, but you have some help. And I thank God for sending some help in my life. And so, long story short, when he's laying out the terms about discipleship, it is good. I'm wrapping up real soon, but it's cool. Y'all good with this? Because a lot of people don't want to talk about discipleship anymore. Yes, salvation is great, it's good, but are you growing in your relationship with Christ? Because your growth in Christ, so we go out, the church goes out into the world and people are looking at you. You are ambassador, you are representation. And how you gonna lead others to Christ and you mean, you nasty, you just so hard to deal with. But we need to be and show the grace of God, the fruits of the Holy Spirit. And that's when we come into and grow and we build our tower. And yes, it's not gonna be easy, but we're growing because we want to lead others to Christ. Go out and make disciples of all nations. So the essence of being a disciple is unreserved commitment to him. It's unconditional commitment to him. That word unconditional, it means no matter what, you're going to be committed. And there's some people in this room, you have stayed committed through so much stuff. And it's people that told you should give up. People told you this God thing is this Jesus thing is that. But you stayed committed because you just know. And so when you say, therefore, any one of you who does not renounce all that he has cannot be not my disciple. That word renounce means to say goodbye, surrender, give up. And he really touches this. This is a parable of the tower and the foundation, but he really touches this. If you read the Gospel of Luke, this 14th chapter, there's another parable called the Great Banquet. Someone say the Great Banquet. The great banquet that Jesus uses to touch on renouncing all things. In this parable, a man invited many people to a banquet. Whoever threw a party before, a host before, you invited so many people to the party. You invited who you wanted to the party. But here's the thing about now versus back then. We have clocks this time. So when you invite somebody to a party, it's on this day at this time. They can put on a calendar. But there were no calendars back then. So they just say it's on this day. So no matter what time it is, just stay ready. Because when it's ready, you can go ahead and come get what I prepared for you. So a man invited many guests to a party. They know the day, but they don't know the time. But now the time came for the party to happen, and when the day of the feast came, the man said, all things are ready. So everyone and I invited, come on through and enjoy what I prepared for you. But instead of coming to the party, those people that were invited to the party made excuses. They made excuses on why they couldn't come to the party, the banquet that was prepared for them. And we're going to look at these excuses real quick. One said, I just bought a field. I need to go check it out. Excuse me, please. Another said, I just got some new oxen. I need to go check them out too. So excuse me, please. And another one said, you know what? I just got married. Me and my wife want to spend time together. So excuse me, please. And the party host, the man got furious because they all made excuses on why they couldn't come to the party, why they didn't accept the invitation. But it sounds a little bit like us. God has so many things in store for you. God has so many things ready for you. But when it's time for you to step into the promises of God, you have excuses. They put their family above Jesus. They put their career above Jesus. They put possessions above Jesus, and they were unable to step into the promises of God because they made excuses and made him less of a priority. But I don't know about you, but I want to step into everything that God has ready for me. When we say all things are ready, here I come, because I'm not going to let my family stop me. I'm not going to let possessions stop me. I'm not going to let my job stop me. What you have for me is enough for me to drop everything. Someone say drop everything. To step into all that God has for you. So they were unable to enjoy the party. They were unable to enjoy the dinner because of their actions and their excuses. But I'm here to say check the price tag. Check the price tag. I don't know about you, but we have to be willing to pay it all. When it comes to following Christ, we have to be willing to sacrifice it all when it comes to following Christ. Because when it's all said and done, our love for Jesus should be so strong that it looks like hate to everything else. So let go of the possessions, let go of putting other things before Jesus. Because when I think about this song, I love you, Jesus, I worship and adore you, I just want to tell you that I love you more than anything. Can anybody just admit that you love Jesus more than anything, more than my job, more than my family, more than my house, my home? I love you more than anything because you are my safe place. You are the good shepherd. You are the high priest. You are the well that never runs dry. Because of that, I love you more than anything. Do anybody just can testify and say, I love Jesus more than anything, because he is your refuge. He is your shelter. He is your ever-present help in times of trouble. And just because of that, I love you more than anything. Because yes, my mama is good, but she's not more good than you. Yes, my daddy is good, but he's not more good than you. Yes, they're great, but they're not greater than you. Yes, they awesome, but they're not more awesome than you. Jesus, you are my everything. You are my all and all. God is the joy and the strength of my life. He moves all pain, misery, and straight promise to keep me, never to heal me, and he will never ever fall short of his word. And that I love you, and I build you up. I lift you up. I magnify your name. I thank you for being the good God because you're amazing. You are worthy to be exalted. We magnify you. We love you. We appreciate you through the mist and the pain, the heartache and rain. I still love you. I still walk with you, talk with you, and I'm going to be with you regardless. In the midst, yes, you hurt, but still rock with God. Yes, you in the fire, but still rock with God. Yes, you in the lion's den, but still rock with God because he is the ever-present help in times of trouble. Anybody ever been in some trouble and you just had to run to God and he held you, he comforted you, he picked your head up, and because of that, I love you more than anything. Can we just say I love you more than anything because you are good? Can we just give God praise for being the God that he is? I love you more than anything, more than anything, more than anything. We need to get back to making God a priority again. We need to get back doing it. Get back. I say we need to get back to making church a priority again. It's not because it's traditional. Church is necessary. Church is about fellowship. Church is about coming together and building each other up and also building God up, worshiping God, loving one another, because this Christian journey isn't meant to be lived alone. This Christian journey isn't meant to be walked alone, and the enemy will try to convince you that you can do this all by yourself. But there's no shame in my game saying that I need Jesus. I need Jesus. Can we stand to our feet and give God praise for that word?